Michelle Delaney. Welcome to downtown San Francisco. We are in the beautiful 111 Minute Gallery Studios now, and we are doing our first episode of Tharts, thinking about art. I've got some one-on-one time with a fabulous artist today. Her name is Justyna Kisielewicz. She was one of our artists in 2017. She had a wonderful show called Alone Together. Welcome, Justyna.
Yay!
Well, it's so great that you were able to come up today and participate in this. This will be our first podcast and our first Minna Studios TV artist interview. But anyway, first I'd like to start with, hearing a few things about you. You know, interesting. You're from Poland. You're now in the United States. Just like to hear a little bit about, how did you get over here? You know, how did you make it over to the States, and also where did you start art? And I saw that you went to art school in Warsaw, but just kind of, what got you into it?
Well, how did it all start? I think that it started when I was 3 years old, and my mom was writing her master's degree, and I think that there was a shortage of materials, and I painted on her master degree work. So that was kind of a, bad thing from my mom. But anyway, then, I came here in 2015. I think that I was born in the wrong place, so my body was born in Poland, but mentally I was always in the US. So I came here, I'm legally here. Wink, wink. No, I am. And I'm glad to be part of this, community. I'm happy to be here, and world is beautiful. There is no pandemic or anything like that, so
right.
This is just perfect.
So when you packed up to come over here, was it like, okay, I've got this U-Haul and this stack of canvases, let me just drive over the ocean? Like, how did it happen?
Well, not at all. Actually, it all started because I had a show in Poland, and I was deprived of 17 of my paintings. So the guy stole paintings from me, and I was so angry at Poland and the art market there that I decided just like to find something else in my life. And I joined Instagram, and I was discovered by a couple of galleries, one from San Francisco.
Wow.
And that's actually how it started. I was offered a show, and I came here, and then I met a lot of people and a lot of collectors, and little by little I just started to move my life here. So there was not a U-Haul, and I didn't just take everything that I had with me.
Yeah.
It was more like a gradual thing to do.
Well, let's jump into a few of these pieces, because what's really interesting is, like you said, you're born in Poland, but so much of your art represents the United States. So I think we should start. There are a few pieces that you brought here to show us that we get to see in person, which is wonderful. So if we could start over here, this one is New Kids on the Block.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that piece.
Well, so this is a piece that is inspired by something that is going on in here, and I think it's going to take over the rest of the world. Because everything that starts, like technology-wise or fashion starts in California, and then it's like creates a huge wave that just takes over everything, right? So here we have like something that is happening in society. Like we have new kind of people, we have, new sexualities, or maybe not that new, but they are, getting their voice out there. And we have, old kind of stuff, like the guy on the horse that doesn't really want them to become part of their community. So, and this is actually based on true events, because you have the Flintstone house, right, in the background, and it's like a real house in Hillsborough. And this lady's going through really hard times, having all those sculptures, dinosaurs, because their neighbors don't really like that. So it's like a story about, things that have to change in order for everything to stay the same, but some things and some people are just not really willing to let that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a little note about, if you guys have seen this piece, her house, you can see it when you're driving up the 280. She's got the Flintstone house. It has these really cool dinosaurs outside, and it's been there for years, and everyone that drives up the 280 loves it. It's so neat to see some art and someone that appreciates art. And so just a shout out to Florence Fang. We're really just love what you're doing and so support you, and thank you so much for bringing art and neatness and coolness and,
And also
stuff into the
safety.
community,
I think it's also safety to our community because everybody's slowing down. This is like a speed bump on 280.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Get off your phone. Stop texting while you're
Yeah,
driving.
yeah,
You know,
appreciate.
enjoy what's happening around you. Exactly.
That's what, yeah.
So yeah, excellent. And just such a cool piece and such a great message. We love it.
Yeah.
Justyna's also brought us Shiny Happy People, which she named this morning.
Not true.
No, not true. All right, tell us a little bit about that. It looks like it was some California bears, other cool things.
Well, this is like a utopia. And I think that also people in California are dreaming of something that, will look like big happy family, that we can all really get along. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why can't we just all get along?
Right.
But I think that we're trying, we're not perfect with that. We want to be in harmony with animals, we want to be in harmony with different races, religions, sexualities, whatever is out there. But and that's why also they are like porcelain kind of people and animals, because everything is really fragile. This utopia is really fragile, and then you have this cat's paw attacking it. So that might happen, might not happen. You don't really know. But shiny, happy people holding hands.
A really beautiful piece, and also looks, looks a little bit like candy and chocolate, and the same thing with the fragility. It could easily melt, right? You better be careful with global warming. We got to keep this utopia going here.
Yeah.
Okay. So really cool. Thank you for bringing those pieces down for us to enjoy.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
So we have a few other pieces we're gonna go through, but we're gonna move on to. It's called Americana. So if we can hear a little bit about this piece.
I think I was painted right after I came here, 2015, and my idea of America was slightly different to how it's now presenting itself. But I thought of America as like this very proud lady, who is like, strong and she's just like this, super persona, And then in the background you have everything that is like defining America. I think that, in America, sports play a huge role. It's almost like a religion, right? So that's why it's like on the background of American football. And I loved cheerleaders. I don't understand American football at all. I understand cheerleaders though. They're amazing. But yeah, this is like that was my vision of America. There's like one way you can only do things in America, the big way, right? And that's what it is.
Nice. Right. And I think, again, a very good representation of America. And you go out in the evening, you watch some football. If you're a woman, you're obviously a cheerleader, not playing football, and in this fancy dress. So really, no, it is really a good representation of how I could imagine people. I mean, is this like what is happening here? Because that's what we do, right? But
frankly speaking, I thought that I didn't want it to look like stereotypical, that you think that every girl in the U.S. is a cheerleader and every guy is, a football player. But I think that in America, religion is subsidized by, the religion is substituted by sports. And it's a very important thing in America. And so this is not a mockery. This is kind of like, it's beautiful, it's great. This person symbolizing America is strong, is great. She's, she's proud. She's proud that she's representing, American people.
Yeah, and everyone in it is doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're doing what they want to do, what they thought about, that this is something that they would enjoy and having a great time. And she is just beautiful. She is beautiful and dynamic and strong and amazing, and her stare is so intense. It just looks right through you.
Yeah. I think it's also like a representation of a team effort, something that I think is really beautiful in America, and you don't get that too much in Europe or specifically in Poland. Everybody is individuals, and here, if you want to achieve something great, you have to come together and you have to be a team player. So you can be competitive, but at the same time, when you're, you know, in a bigger group, you're having friends that can support you, you can, you know, succeed. You can achieve more. Yeah.
Yeah, the material on the dress is very elegant, and it's painted. I mean, it looks like you can feel silk. And then you have the We the People tattoo. We also have a tattoo of the eye that's on the dollar bill.
Yes, it is. It's kind of like the story with Illuminati, you know, like the urban legend, something that you don't know if that's true or not. So it's like pretty, you know, ambiguous thing. But tats are like typical. Something that is like also expressing your personality. Yep. Right? Yeah. And she has a diamond in the crown tattooed on her chest. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
And they have a couple of roses on each side of the diamond. So it's kind of like, you know, America's great, you know, it's a diamond, you know, but it has its thorns, so it's not perfect, right?
Yeah, really, really great piece. Very cool. So you have to check this Americana out. And of course, you can go to her website at Justyna Kisielewicz and check out all these pieces. Next, we're going to go on to California 1. So in this one, in California 1, we have Justyna landed by the Golden Gate Bridge. In the background, we have palm trees, we have flowers. We also have some little interesting little spy eyes on you.
Yes.
In there, checking you out, kind of discovering you in this landscape. But you also have a visor over your eyes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so here you see me in the visor, right, with Ifornia sign on that, which is almost like California, but at the same time, it's telling you something about technology. Like you have iPhones, iMac, so it's like Ifornia.
Okay, you're not stealing that Mac. That's hers. She's got it.
Yeah.
You can buy it from her.
Yeah, and cool. But it's obviously pink because this is like a very optimistic image of California. And those eyes that you can see in the background, they're like those followers that you have that are checking you out, sometimes on social media, you know, and sometimes they're like friendly people who are wishing you best. Sometimes they are not necessarily, you know, happy of your successes. So that's why you have different kinds of eyes in the background. But then obviously you have, you know, the Golden Gate Bridge, because why not?
All right, we're going to move on to, we have We the Donuts. So in this picture, we have a very delicious looking cake donut with pink frosting and rainbow sprinkles in the setting of a jungle with some toucans and a monkey. So super interesting. And it's not you landing in a environment, it is a donut landing in an environment. So how did we get here?
So this painting is called We the Donuts, and it tells a story of us, the humankind, that is exploiting nature. We're just like, we're thriving on nature. We're getting fatter on nature. We look like this donut that is like super shiny, super greasy, you know. And then this donut, if you look at the painting, you can see that it's almost filling the whole painting. You know, it's almost like as if that was too big for the painting itself. So it's taking over the space of the jungle, the nature, and the animals that you can see in the paintings, they are kind of frightened. You know, the monkey is screaming. She's trying to protect her coconut, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also another story of the donut. Because I remember when I was like 11 years old, and it was just right after transformation in Poland, and we had one location of Dunkin' Donuts in Poland, in the city center.
Right.
And that was near to this place where I was going to painting lessons. And I was saving money for the donut. And it was so expensive. Like, you guys cannot even imagine how expensive this donut was. And every day I was passing, you know, this Dunkin' Donuts location. I was looking at this very donut, this pink one with sprinkles. And I was thinking like, one
Right.
day I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And I took all my savings one day, and after painting classes, I went there and I was sitting at this plastic table, like the typical
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts table, and I felt like a princess, you know?
Right. Right?
Ridiculous, right? Yeah.
That smell of that Dunkin' Donuts coffee and this delicious donut.
Yeah, but that was really expensive.
Yeah.
You know? So that was actually once, it happened only once in my life, I think, that I spend my savings on something else than paints and brushes and, you know, artist supplies. I just needed like to eat this donut.
Yeah, no, that made an impact on you, and it's great. And what you took from it,
Yeah.
and the lesson that you've put in it, is just beautiful. And you know that something so evil can look so delicious and
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, but it was painted in 2014, and now we're in 2020,
Yeah,
and things are not looking any better,
right.
you know?
The donut's getting bigger.
Yeah.
It's a big donut.
Monkey by this time, you know, has lost its coconut.
Yeah,
right?
monkey's just out of the picture.
We
gone.
took the coconut, we did everything, like coconut water, coconut anything.
Right. You
know.
had a coconut. We're gonna take it and make something out of it.
We took
Sorry.
that away from you, honey.
Right. Oh man, what a great piece. I can't wait till everyone can go see that one too. And again, go to the website, JUSTYNAKISIELEWICZ.com. All right, now we're moving on to Democracy.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And a lot going on in this one. This one's super cool. I see a peace sign at the bottom. I see guns. I see bullets. I see dollar bills, peaches.
I painted this piece last year, and I was just thinking, like, man, 2020 elections,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's what's coming, and that's how crazy it is. So,
Well, you've got all the pieces in here
yeah.
that everyone's talking about. So this one is, right at the forefront here, what we're all thinking about. Yeah, very powerful piece. All right, now we're going to move on to Pillocracy. So kind of a little bit in the same vein. We've got, you know, pills,
Optimistic.
fruit, yes, fruit, science. There's some science happening back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to us about this one.
Well, so this is from the same series as Democracy. So I wanted to paint paintings that would create a series of kind of like American things, you know, American, let's say, I don't want to call them diseases, but some, you know, very important issues in America. So this one is about drugs and getting addicted to drugs. And so what you said, that there is like this lab in the background, you know, people have to realize that everything they're taking and they get in those tiny orange bottles, this is a chemistry. This is something that can change their thinking, you know, mental state. So this is very important to remember. And again, you have epoxy frame with pills embedded.
Yeah, that
So they're
looks
like-
really neat.
And they're real pills.
Those are real pills
Yeah.
embedded around in that
You have
frame.
some Viagra, you have some
Wow.
opioids, you have some painkillers. And it's funny because some of the people who were looking at this painting, they said it's like essence of life.
Right. And they're not going to try to break this frame open, right? They're like, I'm
it-
digging in.
Wouldn't make any sense. No.
The little
No.
epoxy never hurt no one.
There's a little message on this bottle that says, take one on an empty mind before first thought. So, because I think that this is how the problem in America, and when I went through some, you know, health issues here, I had a surgery and I was given painkillers. I was given a lot of opioids that I didn't want to take because I was afraid really of, you know, becoming
Getting addicted to them?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I spoke to doctors about it, and they said, well, you know, but this is what it is, you know, this is what we have at hand, and, you know, you have to be aware of some risks. But it's, you know, easier said than done, because once you take it, you don't really know how your organism is going to react to it.
Right.
So there's a little message like, be careful what you're doing,
Right.
because you never know.
Right.
So.
Right. And I see it does kind of look like a Walgreens
Eh,
label.
yeah, but it says worthless.
Worthless. Nice. And it does have your name on the bottles. Very cool. All right. Our next one we have here is Bird of Riots. So we have these just beautiful birds made out of what looks like balloons.
Yeah.
It looks like they might be on some kind of, I can't tell if that's like, is that like Grecian or Aztec? Like what are we?
It's like, yeah, it's Greek column, and these birds are made of balloons. So like the twisted balloons.
Uh-huh.
And this is like, again, the story of how fragile nature is.
Right.
And, you know, everything is like, this moment is here, and then the next one is just gone. You just pop it, it's done, you know. But this one is telling a story of this peacock made of balloons who is very proud, and he's standing on the ruin of Greek column. And these birds that are like with him on this painting, there are two parrots. There's on the tree trunk, one is kind of lower, looking at him, and they are inspired by all the riots that's been going on in the U.S.
Oh, right.
So this is a story of how people are trying to change the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
in like the old world. So hence the Greek column.
Right.
And they're trying to do something new. But there you have, in the right corner of the painting, you have a little bird sitting on the nest with eggs.
Right.
And these are like all the families and little business owners who, you know, were right in the middle of those riots.
Mm-hmm.
And they were scared of their businesses, and their livelihood was threatened. So, you know, and here you also have, I think, Peppa the Frog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, that's down there.
Yeah.
And just the way that you paint the balloons, you know, the message is really great and very important right now. But also the way that you paint these balloons is so neat. I mean, you just make everything look so, I mean, kind of neater than real. Like when I look at it, I would rather hold that balloon than a real balloon. You know, so what?
Yeah.
So what is it? Your style that gets you to get that really nice consistency and make things look so tangible and beautiful, and that you just want to touch it and hold it.
Oh, it's just simple. It's just like ages of painting. You know, you just go through kilometers of
I was
canvas.
reborn a painter hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's easy. Just do it. You can do it yourself.
Yeah, it is just
yeah.
really neat. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
Just something just.
I think that now that we are talking, it made me realize that everything that I paint is kind of fragile.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like almost like, hey people, you know, the message is like, hey people, we're here, we're like fighting for things, but you know, next thing we know, we're not here anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of like passing things. So maybe that's, you know, I'm trying to convey, you know, that don't like treat things too serious, because
Right.
you never know. Like,
Yeah.
you know, appreciate what you have right now, because you never know what happens.
Right.
But at the same time, it's really, you know, colorful. It's
Mhm.
nice. So, you know, things don't have to be really grim, you know, and sad.
Right. So here we go. So this is interesting. So first, you know, before we go into this, talking about and this is microclimate 1, just wanted to talk about, you know, I've heard around, and I agree, you know, that you are definitely, you know, the princess of pop art.
Oh my God. Where's my tiara?
Get her tiara, people. Come on, let's get that. Yeah, and so I love, and in a lot of your paintings, when you go to your website, when you look through her stuff, you'll see that there is just a lot that is formed around Disney.
Yes.
Right? So here we have her with Minnie Mouse. She got Mickey Mouse on her shirt. Is that Minnie Mouse that you're holding there in the blue?
Yeah.
And then again in the background with the style, she just has this amazing, it's like this metallic material that looks soft, but also like aluminum. It's hot pink. And then you're laying there with looking, super cool, awesome pants, silver. Again, the material just looks like you just want to touch it. But yeah, tell us about this and tell us a little bit about your relationship with Disney. How you feel about them and thought about them as a child and how they influenced you so much.
Yeah, it's almost when you said tell us about your relationship with Disney. I was like, oh, you want to tell me the story of me and Walt? I was gonna flip my hair here. It's something that I was waiting for when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I think when I was 7, we had this, evening fairy tales for kids. It started at 7, and I was every day waiting for it. So it was amazing how, the cartoons looked like and the whole animation, and the production was so amazing. It was so far away from what we had in Eastern Europe. So it was something that I was totally enjoying. And but it was also something that was American and showed also the story of Walt Disney, right? That when you get to know and you see that this guy really believed in it, and he went bankrupt a couple of times, and nobody, believed that he can make it, and he did it, and he was fighting with, many things, like obstacles on his way. So I think that I have a lot of admiration for what he did, and he just came up with that. He just thought about it. It's amazing, right? You have this thought, and then it's just, it comes to into realization. So, but this painting, Microclimate, is a story of how you can be whoever you want to be, and you can be a badass. I don't know if I can use this word.
Yeah.
If not, then you can be a rock star, a censored option. And so the pink background, it's actually a deeper story.
Nice.
Okay, so how deep is that? So this is actually a representation of a mother's womb. Because we as human beings, regardless of religion, color, anything, this is the first color that we all see, pink color, right? So in this motherly womb, you can be yourself, and you don't think about, if somebody likes you or if somebody, agrees with your choices. You are who you are, yeah? And then when you leave this environment, you're exposed to many different things. So, and then you're, losing touch with who you really are.
Right.
So that's the whole story behind this painting.
Oh, that's beautiful. And yes, one of the first things you're exposed to is Disney.
Yeah.
Right out of the womb.
Right after the womb, that's the very first thing you see.
It's literally the first thing you actually see.
Yeah. But then you asked me about the reflections in this painting. There's a lot of it, right? There are different textures. You have balloon texture. You have this kind of like aluminum background texture and pants. And when I put it on Instagram, I got comments with people saying, "Oh, this is like a metallic paint. What did you do? How did you use it?"
Right.
And I was like, there is no metallic paint.
Wow.
Not in an ounce of it in this painting.
That's amazing.
And but I remember I was very interested in reflections since I was a kid. And I remember I had this neighbor, and she saw my attempts at painting something reflective, and her commentary on my lousy efforts, was that, oh, one day, you'll be able to paint it, but you'll have to buy, very good quality gold paint.
Right.
And I was like, no, silly, that's not how you do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's great. I need everyone to go and check out Microclimate 1. I mean, you just got to see these silver pants. And especially now that we know they're not painted with silver paint.
Not at all, yeah. And there was also another painting from the series. It was Microclimate 2. Pretty much the same composition, the same story. And that's in a national museum in Poland.
Oh.
Yep, I'm in a museum.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it is.
That is really
I was
awesome.
shocked, actually, that they bought it. The state bought it.
Yeah, that is just wonderful.
Yeah,
Good
especially
job.
after they wanted almost to expel me from the school
Right.
So
Right?
kind of cool. Yeah.
Nice. They're
Yeah.
proud of their girl.
Happy ending.
I know, it is a happy
Yay.
ending. Oh, happily ever after, of course.
Yeah.
That's what happens with this one. Oh, that is so neat.
Yeah.
And what's the name again of that museum? That was the Dansk Museum in Poland, is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, the National Museum of Dansk, Poland.
Yes, and it's in their permanent collection. So just hop on this flight and
Yep,
go
we're
to
going.
Gdańsk and just check it out for yourself.
Hey, when COVID is gone, we're on it. This is just one of my favorites. I have to talk about this one. When I saw this one, we had this one showing at the Alone Together show at 111 Minute Gallery in 2017. And when I walked around and literally saw a guy hunting a My Little Pony, I almost died. I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So tell us what inspired Safari.
Well, I painted it, I think that was 2013. I was still in Poland, or maybe I painted it earlier. But anyway, I was going through some tough times with my professors from academy where I was studying, and they are very conservative people, and they didn't get what I was doing at all. So one of the guys expelled me from his studio, and he said like, hey, you're gonna do what you're doing. We have nothing to talk about. And he saw the idea for this painting, and he told me that, what are those symbols? Because what you didn't say is that
Louis
this
Vuitton?
the pony is covered with Louis Vuitton logo. And he asked me what is this thing?
Yeah.
And I tell him well, it's Louis Vuitton, obviously. It's obviously, who knows it? Nobody knows it. Who is this person? And he told me instead of it, you should be painting some Baroque or some gentry emblems, whatever. And I just told him no.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. So we kind of had to split over this painting.
Wow.
And
That's intense.
And that's what
And that's in school,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So that's how they, reward your individual thinking.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I pictured myself, as this pink My Little Pony. He was trying to be, who you want to be, but then you're taking down, you have rifles just aiming at you, and that's it.
I'm trying to be pink and cute. You're taking me down.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, you can try.
I'm frolicking. And you're taking me down. Yeah, no, that sucks. In the background here, we have a desert scene with a mountain and a plateau.
Yeah.
Where were you kind of imagining this background scene?
This is actually a real place. It's called Uluru Mountain. It's in Australia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and this is so special. It's so different. It's a beautiful place, in fact. And I thought that Australians are weird. My Little Ponies are weird. Why not?
I'm just gonna put them together.
Yeah.
No,
it's just make it all clash.
It is such a great piece. I really need everyone to go and see this piece on her website.
And it's big.
Because it is. Yes, it is very big.
It is. Yeah.
Very big.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love that pony. Okay. And now we're moving into.
Yeah. So this one's title is Sans Souci. Actually, it's not the whole title because the whole title is Sans Souci de Vaurika, which is a word pun. And Sans Souci means don't worry. And Devaurika is a word pun of devour in America.
Okay.
So it's Americans, they have a lot of food and everything is big and, you get the story.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of a story of how you don't want to be where you are.
Right. Yeah.
I painted it after Trump won elections.
Okay.
And everyone was so crazy, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
All of them, those who were voting on Trump and those who were voting against, and people were just going crazy. And I was thinking hey guys, don't worry, it's gonna be fine.
Right.
At the end of it all, you have beautiful nature, you have, your friends, you have, people that you like.
Yeah.
You have options. America's all about options,
Right.
right?
There's drive-throughs everywhere. You
So
pick what
worry
you
not,
want. Go
it's
and
gonna
pick
be
something.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot of you've got the coastline I see back there.
Yeah, yeah.
I also see that we have Betsy Ross's dress coming
Again,
underneath.
yes.
which is beautiful, that fabric that you have coming out. We also have a very interesting cloud with googly eyes.
Yeah.
And those look like real googly eyes. Do you paint those, or are those
I did. No, it's not a sticker. I painted it.
You painted those.
Yeah.
They look like the googly eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really cool. So then we have a woman, and she's being sucked in by, what is that?
Happy World sweets.
Frosting?
Yeah.
Well, she's having a good time in there.
Yeah.
She's enjoying.
Like,
she's in there.
It's
she's
almost like
kicking her
Alice
legs up
in
and enjoying this.
Wonderland. You know, like she's on the other side, whereas like nicer. It's like sweet. It's pink. It's
right. And then we have the donut. We have the representation of the donut, representation of America, and we also have the all-seeing eye. Again,
yes.
coming back in.
Yeah. So you have, I think in this painting you have a bit of a every other painting that was painted up to this point. And you have the clouds, the eyes, donuts. So it's kind of like everything that America is made of.
Right.
You have that in this painting.
So again, with your painting style, we just have bright, vibrant colors. It's fun. It's cool. It's just super interesting. And this is a common theme with all of your stuff, the vibrancy and the happiness and the hope and things that make you feel good, in the midst of all of it. So Justyna, I'm a little curious about, are there any artists that inspired you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many artists that inspired me, starting from artists that I met here directly, like, being featured in your shows. Mike Davis, for example, with his amazing paintings and frames. And it made me think about, painting as a whole piece, like how do you actually present it? So that's when I came up with my resin pieces. It was kind of like the conversation I never had with Mike in reality. It was just like in my head. But that's amazing how, when you see what other artists are doing, it just kind of like pushes you to places that you wouldn't go normally.
Right.
There's also, Robert Bowen, who's amazing, and we were showing at Cabo Del Mar together with 111 Mina, and Michael Lebrun, who's an amazing person as well. And, there's also a lot of more classical painters, like, the painting that we're talking about, Sanssouci, and it was also inspired by French painters, Vish Lebrun, who is not family with Michael Lebrun.
That's the thing.
But you would think maybe. But the story, like why I chose to use some of her inspirations in my painting, was because she was a woman painter, and she was really working hard to make it as a living, and she was traveling to find collectors, buyers, patrons. So she was really working her butt off to make it happen for her. And, there's a lot of modern artists like David Hockney, who's amazing. Right. And I think I can relate to him because he was born in Great Britain. That is kind of gray most of the time. And then when he came to California, he discovered the sun and light that is unbelievable. Right. So I can relate to his works as well, and his amazement at the nature and sun here. And I don't want to say it, but probably people will say that, oh, it's like Andy Warhol kind of thing. But we broke up with Andy. Right. Yeah, so we're not a couple anymore. Yeah. I used to like admire his approach to just this business side of being an artist. He was amazing, actually, if you come to think about it. You may like or not his paintings, but he was an amazing entrepreneur. He was really an amazing entrepreneur, and you can learn so much from him, especially if you want to be an artist. You have to, keep your eyes and ears open and just, talk to people that you can talk to. And thanks to gallery like yours, you can, meet other artists and be part of this community. That is extremely important.
It is. It's a great community.
Yeah.
It's fun to be in the art scene.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.